Hey everyone, this is my wife's 2024 Hyundai Santa Fe, and we're going to do an oil change on it today. Believe this has only been out a few months, and this one has about 1,200 miles on it, which I know all of these at this point when this video is being made are still under their 3-year, 36,000 mile maintenance plan with Hyundai. Well, that's 6,000 mile oil changes. And I think that's a little too long, especially on a turbo engine. Also, this engine is breaking in right now. Like I said, it's got about 1,200 miles on it. And I want to get all the break-in junk, all the glitter and everything out of the engine and put fresh oil in it. And then we'll probably stick with the Hyundai plan after that. We'll see. But I just wanted to go ahead and do an oil change, get the factory oil out while the engine's breaking in and get some new oil in. So that's what we're going to do today. Since no one's done, at least that I've seen, an oil change on one of these yet, I'm not 100% sure about what tools, but this is what I think we'll need. I think we'll need a 17 millimeter ratchet for the oil drain plug, 27 for the oil filter. I don't know what size this is, but this is a pretty big Allen key for the drain on the oil filter itself. And this is just in case the factory torqued those bolts down a little too much. As far as parts, we're gonna need, it says 6.5 quarts of oil. So we got 6 quarts of oil here. Hopefully that'll be enough. It's 0W30 and a genuine Hyundai oil filter, which was pretty pricey. I think I paid $27 for this at the dealer. And that's what we're gonna go with. So step number 1 is gonna be to jack the front of the car up a little bit. As you see, I've already done this. If you don't know how to do that safely, go watch a video on that. But I'm up on jack stands here so that we can crawl underneath the vehicle, which is what I'm gonna do now. So step number 1 here is going to be to pop these little plastic things out of this cover here, which I believe this is on the this is for the oil filter, should be behind this. So just pull those out. Obviously you don't want to break them because you're going to reuse them. All right, so that's the cover. See the oil filters right there. All right, next we're gonna take off this cover right here, which is where the oil pan is, so we can get to the drain plug. And that is gonna require popping out a few more of these little tabs. And as I forgot to mention in the beginning, you will need, I think, a 10 millimeter to take out one bolt here, which is right there. So So then we should be able to take off this little guy here. Oh look, there's one more 10 millimeter back here. All right. So now we have access to the drain. So here's the oil drain plug. It is a 17 millimeter. So it's on there pretty tight. Obviously, you want to have an oil drain pan underneath it to catch all the oil that's about to come out. And we're just gonna let that drain until there's nothing coming out, or maybe just a few drops. So now that we've drained the oil, we're gonna do the oil filter, and it has this little drain here in the bottom. I've already drained it because our audio cut out in the last take, so I'm just reshooting this so you guys see. So yeah, we just use this Allen key, unscrew that, oil comes out, wait for that to drain. Since we already have drained it, we're gonna go ahead and remove the oil filter itself. And that's where this big 27 millimeter comes in. I think this is the right size. Yeah, maybe. Yep, all right. So now we've got that loose. Unscrew that. There's probably gonna be some more oil inside there. There shouldn't be a lot. All right. So here we have the oil filter and housing. This all looks real clean, but you would expect that with only 1,200 miles. All right, so here we have our new filter and our old filter. We should just be able to wiggle this or pull it out. Yep, there we go. So there's our old filter. All right, so now that we've popped out our oil filter, there is a O-ring, a gasket right in here. And there's a little tab. I don't know if you can see that right about here. So I'm just gonna grab those with some needle nose and just pull that out. I can't imagine that you really need to replace that, especially not at 1,000 miles, but the kit with the oil filter comes with a new one, so might as well do it. So when you're putting the new one back in, just make sure that the tab is pointing up. You don't want it, you definitely don't want it pointing down, because that's gonna mess you up in multiple ways. So we're just gonna push that down into the little groove. And then we're going to take our new filter. It does not appear to matter which way it goes. So we're just gonna stick it on there. Push it into place. And then there's also in the box here a new plug, which we can go ahead, oh yeah, it's probably a good idea to pour out any oil that's still pooled in the bottom of that. So we'll put this new drain plug in here, screw that in hand tight, then use the Allen key, just make sure it's snug. But it's all plastic, so definitely don't over torque that or it's definitely gonna break. So now we are back under the car, and I've got my oil filter housing with the new plug, new gasket, and new filter. And I'm just gonna push it right back up where it was before. Screw it on till it's hand tight, which isn't very tight considering it's covered in oil. And then I'm gonna take my, oh, you know what? That's not gonna work. So I just discovered that, which I could have learned if I'd thought it through. This drain plug can't be on there when you're tightening it down, because otherwise you can't get this on there. So first put the oil filter housing on, snug it up with your 27 millimeter socket, and then put your plug in there. Like so. All right. Last thing before we put the drain plug back in, so we can put the oil filter kit comes with a new crush washer. So can't imagine I actually need to replace this after 1,200 miles, but we'll do it anyway. So take off the old crush washer, put the new one on, and then we're going to go back under the car and put it in. All right, and now we're almost done underneath the vehicle. So I'm going to carefully slide this very full oil pan out of the way. And we still got a few little drippy doos coming out of the oil pan here. So now we're gonna put our plug back on with our new crush washer. Oh, so slippery. All right, got it snug. That should do it. And now while we're still under here, we're gonna put our little covers back on. So now there's only one thing left, is to put oil back in. So we got this little cover on top of the motor, and I think you can just wiggle it around and pop it off, like so. Set that aside. Here's our oil filter cap. So we'll just unscrew that. Put that aside here in our very clean engine. And then we've got a funnel. Put that in there. And I'm gonna go ahead, I couldn't find exact how much oil this engine is supposed to take. So we're gonna start with 5 quarts, and then we're gonna see, then once we've poured this in here, which I think it's at least 5 quarts came out, probably more. We're gonna measure how much we got out because our oil level was perfect from the factory. So here's our Mobil 1 0W30. Just gonna pour all 5 quarts of this in here to start. So measured the oil, the amount of oil we got out of it, and it was about 6 quarts. So I'm gonna go ahead and pour most, or at least maybe half of this 6th quart in here. And then I'll check on the dipstick and see where we're at. But I'll have to park it on a level surface to get a better reading on that. So that's going to be it for this video. Obviously, the last steps are to replace the oil cap and put the engine cover back on when you are sure that you've got the oil levels to the right place. But overall, pretty simple. Thanks for watching.